I'm back here in Bet Gavriel 2 weeks. I mean, it's exactly 2 weeks after the debate. Last week I couldn't come here because I was in LA and in Arizona. And I had interesting things, you know. Whenever you go to new places, there's always new interesting things. One of the interesting things is that you saw 2 weeks ago we had a debate with a Christian expert, professor from a college, university, Manhattan, knowledge in the Bible. But I hope everybody saw they have nothing really to offer. You know, when you finally challenge them, they just play games. But interesting, I had an opposite excitement. What happened? Whenever I go, I always meet new people, one after the other. And since the reason I went to, you know me, I always go to places where I feel I can influence some people to come closer to the truth, to the Torah. But this trip that I went on, I was invited by an organization from Israel that collects money for children with cancer. And they brought with them a terrible movie clip, like 5-7 minutes movie that shows about all these little kids that are dying in hospitals. Tens of children get this disease every month, tens, all over the country. It's like an epidemic already. And a lot of them died already, more than 30% died. So it's very sad. So this organization, they collect money to help the parents pay for medicine that is not sponsored by the government in a health plan, plus to give rights to the parents to go visit their children. And they make them birthday party. Terrible, because you see how these little kids, the most important thing for them before they died is to hold the hand of the rabbi. Because the rabbi gave his heart for them, you know. He knew every day he comes to visit them by one. They didn't even care about their parents. He said, I want Rav Avram to hold my hand. Terrible, mamash. And people really, you know, there was a lot of good people there in LA. Baruch Hashem, they donated a lot for that cause. But, you know, it's never enough. But the interesting part is that they made on Friday, around 12 o'clock, they made a lunch in a restaurant, Glad Kosher restaurant there. And one of the people that came there was a Mexican guy. His name is Armando, Mexican guy. He heard about me, that I gave a lecture the night before. He has an Israeli friend, a builder. He's a serious builder, this guy. Builds mansions, big houses there in fancy places. Successful businessman. And he told me, this guy is very into religion, and he loves Jews very much. I know him for many years. He wants to meet you. I said, well, I'm going there anyway. Whether he comes or not, we're going there. So I sat with the guy there for maybe 2 hours. You know, this is Erev Shabbos. Shabbos there is 5 o'clock already. And good news, he said, that's it, I'm done with the New Testament. I'm done with it. But the difference between him and that guy that was here, not only that he was much more knowledgeable than this professor, he knew everything from the Torah and from the New Testament. Everything, Kohen Gadol, red cow, all the laws, all the halachot of the Kohanim, purity, impurity, Korban Pesach. Forget about it. His questions was in the level of a top rabbi. Such a righteous person. So I told him, no, after all these things, you want to waste time on this nonsense? So he said, you see what it is when they raise you in one way and you never investigate, you believe in it. Now there's no chance that it's true. So now I gave him, of course, TorahAnytime.com. In a month or two you hear that he wants to convert. I told him, you don't need to convert. Just keep 7 laws, you'll be righteous. But I found that when you tell the goy that is a truthful person, you don't need to convert, just stay a goy and you keep the 7 laws, it gives him much more appetite to come and start asking questions. And also that guy was generous. He donated money for the kids, for the children. Even though, you know, according to the halakha, it's not such an easy question if you're allowed to take charity from a goy. But the truth is that if the goy gives money for sick people and things like this, then you're allowed. But if he gives to synagogue, to yeshiva, to Torah, it's a questionable, it's a questionable issue. Why? Because when the Goyim do such a thing, they get a huge merit. God owes them a lot for that now. Because if they sponsor the Torah, they have a part of the Torah. So the more power the Goyim have, the more they're going to use it against us. That's how history shows. But to tell them we cannot take from you because you're not Jewish, it's also not possible. So what's the solution in the halacha? The solution is that you take from them and you give it to Goyim. What? Whenever you have a charity fund in a city, sometimes like you give food to poor people, sometimes Goyim also come. So since Goyim also come, you cannot tell them, hey, you're not Jewish, you cannot get food, it's not possible. So you use the money of the Goyim that gives to that Goyim. And that Goy has a mitzvah. He helps his own people. If you don't have access to Goyim to give them, then what you do, you take this money and you use it for cleaning stuff and for toilet paper, for tissues, for things that you need to maintain the buildings. You know, to paint, to do all kinds of things. But not really purely to go into the Torah. You may say, what's the difference? The yeshiva gets X amount of money and the person in charge, he decides what to do with each money. What money goes to the chandelier, what goes to buy sidurim and to buy gemara. And that's exactly how the tzedakah is being distributed. Because in the time of the Mishkan, in Bet HaMikdash, the Torah says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the holy vision to Betzalel ben Uri. Lachshov machshavot. Chazal said, what does it mean? He gives them the brain, lachshov machshavot, to think all kinds of things. So he gave them the ability to know which money is more kosher than the other and to distribute the money according to the holiness of the thing. So if a person gave pure money with all his heart and he had the merit, his money was going to the highest things in the Mishkan. And if a person gives money that he earned on Shabbos or by selling non-kosher things or by doing all kinds of sins with that, that money went to for the food, for the cows, for the goats that they're going to sacrifice, so they feed them, they buy straw and stuff with that money. How? In the old days it was very easy. Why? Because this person was like mamash, like an angel. Hashem gave him Ruach HaKodesh to know which money to send where. However, you know that in a time when the Moshe Rabbeinu built the Mishkan, he had a lot of problems with the nation of Israel. It's interesting, because when Moshe got the Torah, and he came to the Jews to give them the Torah, they had all the incentive, the reasons not to accept the Torah, because remember, they have to change their life from A to Z. They have, for instance, they have tens of thousands of cows that were slaughtered not according to the Torah. So all the food that they cooked for the holiday of Shavuot was all not allowed to be eaten. You got to throw millions of dollars right away. As soon as he comes down from Har Sinai, there are an hour or two before Shavuot, all the food is ready for 15 million people. Imagine the amount of food. Everything must be thrown to the garbage. That's the reason why you eat dairy on Shavuot. Why? Because there was no time for food. No time for food. And the best you can do is to just go milk the cows and the sheep and get milk. And that's what they spend the holiday with. That's why until today, for 3,318 years, we eat dairy on Shavuot. Every custom has a source. You just have to dig and find when it started. But even though they had all the reason to argue and to fight, because some of them had to divorce, as I once told you, they were married to their aunts, now they have to get divorced, because they found out that Torah, it's not a permit to stay with this kind of wife. She's your aunt. Until now it was permitted, now you have to get divorced. That's it. End of your life. You have to give up your children, your wife, she's going away, you love her, she loves you. It's a miserable situation. They had to sacrifice a lot, and so they had all the reason to fight with Moshe not to accept the Torah. If they were able to defeat him then, nobody will tell us what to do. We're not interested. But yet they took it, they adjusted themselves to the Torah rules, and right after that they started to give him 40 years hard time in different issues. It's interesting. But one of the things that they made him hard time is this. You know, they started to say to Moshe that some of the money is missing. You in charge of the money, please tell us where is all the money. Sounds familiar, no? Today, oh, you're the head of this organization, where is all the money going here? How come nobody does anything here? So Moshe Rabbeinu saw that they suspecting him that he's a thief, right? How much money was missing? 1,705 shkalim. Coins of gold, 1,705. And they were searching all over, they made an investigation, and then what happened? They found out that that money was dedicated to Vavei HaAmudim. There were the poles that were covered by gold, so that money was used for those Vavei HaAmudim. How many Vavim were there? 16 poles. So when Moshe Rabbeinu saw that thanks to this poles his life got saved, so he made up a special prayer that we say when we pray. What do we say? We say like this. Every day when we pray in the morning, not that many people know. We say, after Shema Yisrael, Emet ve'yatziv ve'nachon ve'kayam ve'yashar ve'ne'eman ve'ahuv ve'chaviv ve'nechmad ve'na'im ve'nehedar. How many times?
12 or 13 more.
16 altogether. I'm gonna 16 altogether. 16 vav. In the Hebrew grammar, when you make a list of things, you don't use the vav. Vav, it's like and. You don't say A and B and C and D. You don't do it. You go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Only on the last one you put and, right? That's the right grammar. You don't say A and B and C and D, and the end is extra. You don't need it. Same thing in Hebrew. So why there's so many vavim? Because this is Vavei HaAmudim. Vavei HaAmudim. Thanks to those 16 poles that his life got saved from it, he made 16 vavim inside the prayer. That's the secret of this vavim. Because I wonder, for the first time in my life that I read this tefillah, I said, why there's so many vav here? Gotta erase all the vavim and just say vav in the end. Why? It doesn't make sense. So that's the answer for that. That's thanks to that Moshe made 16 praises to Hashem. So Be'ezrat Hashem, as I started to tell you about that goy, so this goy now it's not just another goy, it's very educated goy. If somebody like this convert, very easy, right after that he's going to do wonderful things for the Jewish nation. Why? Because he's full of fire for God. His love for God is so tremendous that I myself was impressed, really impressed by him. It's unbelievable. You know, he sits in a glad kosher restaurant, he puts yamaka, he even bless on the food. He heard somebody say bracha, he got it, he said, what did you say? He said bracha for the food. Then they serve, after they all ate meat, so they serve, non-dairy milk.
Oh, right.
But it looks exactly like milk. So he put in his coffee, and somebody told him, oh, you're drinking milk after the meat. Just to see his reaction. He said, no, God forbid. It's non-dairy. You should see. You see what it is. One thing you should know, all these converts that you see in this generation, in previous generations, the Zohar said, when Hashem came to Moshe Rabbeinu to give him the Torah, before he gave to the Jewish nation, he went to all the Gentiles, to all those nations. And he offered them the Torah and they made a vote. The majority of the people did not want to accept the Torah. Who wants to change? The minority wanted to accept the Torah. Since the minority could not affect the vote, the Zohar says that God does not forget those goyim that wanted to accept the Torah, and he reincarnated them in a new body, with new life, a new opportunity to convert. That's why you have, for instance, you mentioned Rav Yehuda Peretz. If you know his story, I once gave him a ride, he told me his story. He was an expert, a very good baseball player. He came to New York to be in a national league. He was in a team of Mexico to represent Mexico here in New York. Mexico, you have tens of millions of people. And he was in a small team. That means he was one of the best players over there. He came to New York, and somehow he found himself in Borough Park. Mistake. He saw all the people with the beards and the black hats. What did he say? He said, what's going on here? And he started to ask questions. And the more he found out, the more he was interested. And later you know the rest. So this is just to give you an example how a person that cares for the truth, he will find the truth. You know, I want to ask you, if we already spoke about the prayer, for those who pray on Shabbat, you know, when we pray in Shabbat, we say it like this. In one of the prayers we say, Ata Kidashta, you sanctify the seventh day. And then we say, Ismach Moshe b'matnat chelko, Moshe will be happy, he nisher, right? Ki eved ne'eman karata lo, you called him a faithful slave, faithful servant, I should say. And the rest of the sentence speaks about Shabbat. However, one of the prayers, this is what we say, Ata echad v'shimcha echad. Umi ki amcha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz. Where is the Shabbat here? If it's a prayer of Shabbat, right? Ata echad, you are one, and your name is one, and who is like your nation one? But where does it say, where does it speak about Shabbat? This is a prayer of Shabbat. The other two prayers, you see right away, it's speaking about the Shabbat, the Sabbath. Comes here, it did not mention anything about Shabbat. So the answer is, I told you once, there's many secrets in a prayer. Many, you cannot erase one word. Even when you sometimes feel that the grammar is better if you erase one letter, this is more proper, you're not allowed. Why? Because even some of those supposedly mistakes has deep reasons. For instance, Ata echad, how much is echad in numeric value? Aleph is 1, Chet is 8, Dalet is 4, how much is together? 13. Ata echad, we have the word echad. You are 1, echad, so it's 13. And your name is 1, so that's another 13. 13 plus 13 is 26. Miki amcha Israel goy echad, and who is like your nation, also 1. How much is 1? 13. 13 plus 13 plus 13 is how much? 39. What's special about the number 39 in relation to Shabbat? In relation to Shabbat? 39 halachot in Shabbat, 39 restriction. How many things you're not allowed to do on Shabbat? 39 things. So the secret is sometimes you read it clearly, sometimes it's in the words. Because otherwise, what's the connection to Shabbat? Ata echad, shimcha echad, also sanctifying in the name of Hashem. Hashem is one. Today, I got a phone call from somebody in LA. You know, in LA, people are very hungry for Torah. It's not like here, you have hundreds of lectures every month. You have here one, there one. When you finally hear a lecture, it's something special. He speaks, he asked me a question. Tell me, what is this? What's this religion, Mormons? So I told him it's Christians. He said, yeah? I say, yes. He said, oh, because I'm working with this woman. She's trying to convince me to go to her temple to see her religion. I said, what's going on with me? Every day I see another missionary here. So I said, put her on the phone. So I told her, why are you so anxious that he's going to come to see your religion? She said, no, I'm not trying to make him Mormons or anything like this. I just want to show him what is it all about. So I told her, according to the Torah, he's not allowed to step in your temple. So she said, why? I say, if he wants, he can visit in a mosque. That's permitted. But to come to the church is not allowed. She said, why? I said, because the Christians have 2 gods, 3 actually. One, the Son, they made it to 3 different authorities. And that's against the 10 Commandments. We're not allowed to step in your place. So she said, but what about the Muslims? They also have a different religion than yours. I said, yeah, but they scream all day, God is one, God is one, God is one. What she should understand from this, that though they are murdering and they're making so much problems in the world, we pay $100 a barrel of oil already. You know, it got to $100. Who would believe such a thing? They control the whole world. We all suffer every minute of our life because of them. There's not 1 minute in your life that you don't suffer because of the Arabs. You suffer from them every second, whether you sleep, whether you up, whether you're eating. You may ask me, what do you mean when I eat? How am I suffering when I eat? One of the reasons you pay $15 for a piece of meat is because of them. Why? Because when you buy a steak, inside the steak, you have many, many reasons why the price is $15 for a piece, right? They calculate the gasoline to deliver it. It keeps going up. The money goes to them. So the price of the steak, instead of being $10, just because of all the machinery and all the plastics and all the things that they use, it brings the prices up. Plus, you want to fly, right? In the old days, you come 15 minutes before the flight, you show your passport, your ticket, whatever it is, you get on a plane, finished. You didn't need Röntgen, you didn't need cameras, you didn't need to take off your shoes, take off your belt, take off your suspenders, take off this, take off your watch, take off your pen, get your cell phone in, the coins, everything, and it's all over. Then you take your jacket off, and then, you want to take a little bottle of shampoo, like this small. No, you cannot get it on the plane. You want to get a bottle of water, you cannot drink. How much are you going to suffer because of them? The whole world is suffering because of them. The economy is suffering. One of the reasons the United States is going bankrupt is them. Why? Because all the people who took mortgages in the last 6-7 years, when they took a mortgage, the price of the gas bill used to be $300 maximum a month, 7-8 years ago. Now it became $1,000 a month. Why? Because the price of oil keeps going up. So you pay more for electric and gas. So all these middle class in America, they didn't calculate an extra $600-700 a month. You understand? Plus all the problems in the world. Plus, I give you just an example. If the Arab wants to make America go bankrupt tomorrow, all they have to do is press the button. There's one prince from Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Bander, his name. He owns 7% of United States. 7% of America, one family from Saudi Arabia owns. When it comes to America, they give maybe 100 Secret Service and FBI just to secure him. It's like he gets treatment like the President of the United States. Everything he say, they bow down. Yes, sir. Just in case they're not going to get him angry that tomorrow he decide to take the money here and put it in Japan or Germany. They'll be finished. What are they going to do? You understand? So everything here, it's an illusion. 1 or 2 problems, 2 or 3 people press. Imagine Japan decided to take their money out. The dollar, it doesn't have a value anymore. We are now entering a serious time in the world. People think, oh, what do you think about politics, economy? Why are you wasting time in it? The people don't understand that it's a part of the prophecies. Economy, the dollar that went down in Israel to 3.87, it was 4.5, 4.6, it went down by 15-20% already in a few months. It went down, the value of the dollar. It means that the people who used to get money from America donations, the money worth 20% less. You understand? So it brings poverty. That's one of the signs of Mashiach, that all the Jews slowly will start losing all their money. Ad shetichle pruta min hakis. We'll get a situation, there will be people walking in the street, they don't have $1 in their pocket. And I already saw in my life situations like this, that there are people who coming, or they came to the yeshiva, or they came to visit for Shabbat, and just when something unexpected happened, and they needed $15-20, even that they didn't have. They didn't have. Walking around without any money. You understand? So we are in this kind of situation right now. Plus, I don't have to tell you with the atom and all what's going to happen soon. So we have to finally understand that we got to take advantage on those few months that left, or maybe few years. We don't know exactly how many, but the world is already ripe for the last war, for Gog and Magog, for that final war. Yes, it's already started. The process is slow, but it started already. Yeah.
There was a rabbi this Motzei Shabbat who talked about, right before Mashiach, the biggest test would be the test of spiritual hunger, where all Jews would have all the money in the world,
right?
And the test would be to be observant.
That's before, but yeah, right.
And you're saying that
it's a prophecy. Whatever he said, it's a clear prophecy. The prophet says, and in that day before Mashiach come, I will throw hunger to the world. Not hunger for bread or for water. Hunger to hear the words of God. That's why all the people in the world, not only Jews, all the people in the world all of a sudden became spiritual. They're all looking for spirituality. Every country you go, there's a movement of repentance, each one according to their nonsense. You understand? We got lucky that we know the truth. 80,000 different religions and cults according to their nonsense. They devote to the religion, they give charity, they run, they do all kinds of things. And in the end, they come to Olam Haba and they'll be very disappointed. Understand? But you have to know one thing. A goy that is religion in a phony religions is a phony religion, but he's religious. Like Christians, like Muslim, like Hindu, is better to deal with a Jew that does not have faith or belief in the Torah. A Jew that drives on Shabbat and he doesn't believe in God and he eats whatever he wants is much more dangerous than a goy that is religious. Even if the goy bow down to an idol, even if the goy is the most despicable nation in the history, just the fact that he's fearful from someone, he believes there's God that watch over him, he's going to be more reliable with money. Why? Because even when the police or the camera is not there, he has somebody else that he's afraid of. He's afraid of Buddha, this guy is afraid of JCPenney. Everybody is afraid of someone. But they're afraid of someone. The Jew that doesn't believe in anyone is not afraid of anyone. You just turn your back, he's going to steal all the money. Why? Why should he be afraid of someone? Nobody will catch me. Here it's pure profit in 5 minutes. So it's more dangerous. However, when the Jew he has a faith, a belief, is the highest thing in the creation. But when a Jew doesn't have faith, not only that, there's the Torah, what's great about our Torah, that it's very objective. The Torah is not, like I once say, in the Quran, you never see a negative remark about Muhammad. In Christianity, you'll never say a bad comment about JC. Or in Hinduism or Buddhism, you're going to hear anything bad about their hero? Never. Comes our Torah, you hear all the negative. King David, King Solomon, Moshe, stuttering, didn't enter the land, God punished him, God got angry at him, he made a mistake. What's all this? Because in our religion, you get the truth as the way it was. Nothing is more beautiful than reality. God gave you reality with the good and the bad in it. That's why when you read it, you know you read the truth. Every other religion, liars wrote it. That's why they hid all the bad things. Plus, I give you another example. When Rashi explained the Chumash, right? All the Tanakh, the entire Tanakh. How do you know everything Rashi wrote is the truth? Maybe he made mistakes. Maybe he didn't know, and because he didn't know, he just wrote anything that he thought maybe it's possible. How do I know? Can I swear with my life that everything that Rashi wrote over there is the truth? How do I know? Very simple. There are a few places that Rashi wrote and I did not know the interpretation to that thing. And I did not know what it means. And I'm not sure what it means. Then you know that all the rest is solid, like a rock. Why? If he would answer everything, I wouldn't believe in him. Only God knows everything. The smartest person has some things he doesn't know, especially when there's hard things in the Bible, in the Tanakh. There are some places, such as in the Gemara, and Rashi says, I'm not sure what it means. Or Veze lo yadati. Or I don't have the answer about that question. Or things like this. Then you know he was 100%. When he didn't know, he wrote, I don't know. That means when he wrote something else, you know he was sure about it. You understand? But somebody today, okay, I know 80%. Whatever I don't know. I remember once when I was a student in school, when you graduate in 12th grade, they give you a final test. And it's called Bagrut in Israel. So one of the things, it's called Sifrut. Novels, stories, Shakespeare, all this nonsense. You have to sit and learn a month, all these foolish things. And now you learn, you know it by heart by now, right? Now I didn't have patience for all these things. But I still have to go to the test. So I say, you know what? Usually I know how to fool the teachers very well. I write so many things, they get confused, they give me half. Let's say each question is 10 points. or whatever, or 5 points, whatever. So I write all kinds of nonsense. Some of it makes sense to him. He gives me half. He's not sure himself. Maybe I'm right. What do you think? He knows everything. I wrote all kinds of things. But one time, I had a clever teacher. I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. So he gave me 0. He wrote, next time, don't waste my time with your nonsense. So I came to him and said, what is this? He said, oh, you want to fool me, huh? You're writing this, you're writing that, you're not even getting to the point. I say, you caught me this time. Yeah, because some of them, they just get tired. They see 10 pages answer. They say, you know what, let's give him half. He's happy, I'm happy. I go back to my life. But with Rashi, it's 100%. Plus, Rashi is very short. The answers are very short. Right to the point, because he wanted to complete the entire Tanakh, the Gemara, the Mishnah, everything. I want to ask you a question. You know, there's mitzvah that we do, it's called Bikur Cholim. It's a nice mitzvah. When a Jew is sick, there's a mitzvah to go visit him, whether he's in home, whether he's in a hospital. When you enter his room, you're not allowed to sit. Why are you not allowed to sit? Because the Gemara says that every Jewish sick person, God personally, the Spirit of God comes to visit him in his place. Whether he's in the hospital, whether he's in his home, the Ruach HaShechina is right there. When God is there, it's like Sefer Torah is out. You don't sit, you stand. But the importance of Bikur Cholim is not just to come bring him chocolate and flowers or a nice weather, right? Or bring him a phone that he'll be able to talk to people. That's very nice of you. The importance is that if you came there and you did not pray for him, for his health, it's worthless, this mitzvah. The question that I have to you, what happens if a person is out of town? He cannot now fly to Florida to visit his friend. But he calls him a lot. He speaks to him on the phone. He cheers him up. Is that considered Bikur Cholim? Or you have to be physically, you have to be present there? Can it be done over the phone, or it can be only face to face? What do you think?
Be done on the spot wherever you are.
Yeah, it's hard for you to fly to LA to visit a friend. Your friend understands, it's 6 hours to get there. So you call him every day. Huh?
You have a prayer every day after mincha for the sick.
No, if you pray for the sick, it's one mitzvah. I'm saying the actual visit, that the halacha is obligate Bikur Cholim. Bikur means visiting the sick person. Can a visit become a valid visit over the phone? Or phone, it's a phone, and actual visit is a visit. So is it the same, or it's... No. So it's helpful in any way, or it's a waste of time? So let's ask you another question about this mitzvah. Why we don't make a bracha before we enter the room in a hospital? Like when we put tefillin, we have to make bracha before, no? When we put talit, we have to make bracha. When we're about to take the Arbat Aminim, we make bracha. When we enter the sukkah, we make bracha. Now we're about to make mitzvah from the Torah. Why don't we make bracha? Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al bikur cholim. It's mandatory. What's the difference? What do you say?
There'd be a risk that there'd be kind of fluids in hospital rooms that make it impossible to pray. You're making a good point, but let's say you're outside right now. So even if there's something bad inside, right now you make the bracha outside. It's the same thing, you take your dishes to the mikveh. You don't make the bracha inside the mikveh because of the reason you just mentioned, because it's not a clean place. It's a pure water, it's purified the body, but the actual place, the steam and all the dirt around, it's not a clean place. You don't make bracha over there. So you make it outside, you don't speak, you go inside, you finish all of them, then you can talk once you finish the mitzvah. So you make the bracha outside, you enter and you do the mitzvah. Same thing here. Whether it smells there, it's dirty, whatever, you do it outside, in the hallway. No, who has an idea why? Maybe that's the reason.
Why you don't have to visit them? You can just call them over the phone.
First of all, we didn't answer that. You already assumed that that's the answer. So the answer is you're right. If a person is very difficult for him to fly or to drive for so many hours to make mitzvah bikur cholim, he feels bad about it. Wow, I'm making a sin right now. I have a friend, he's in hospital. So today when we have telephones, that's one of the mercies that God has on humanity. He gave us Alexander Bell. He found the telephone, right? And Baruch Hashem, now today, by the way, David HaMelech already wrote about the telephone in Tehillim. Who knows where? Where in Tehillim you hear about the phone? Huh? You don't read Tehillim every day? At least a part every day. Few minutes, 10 minutes. בכל הארץ יצא קוום ובקצה תבל מלהם. In all the world, in all the land, the line spread, their line spread, and in the other side of the world, the words came. The words. בכל הארץ יצא קוום, the lines were spread all over the land, ובקצה תבל מילותיהם. So that means you hear, from here lines went all over the universe, and the people from the other side of the world hear your words. What is it? If not telephone, I don't know what's the meaning of that sentence. What does it mean? בכל הארץ יצא קוום בקצה תבל מלהם. Maybe he meant sending letters with messengers. I don't know. But I once heard it, that's a hint about telephone. Many other things are hinted in the Torah, but that's not right now, not the time for it. But what about the question? Why don't we make the bracha? The answer is every logical mitzvah, every logical good deed that we would have done even without the Torah, it's common sense. Let's assume we wouldn't have the Torah, chas v'shalom, and we have a friend or a relative that is sick in home. Wouldn't we go visit him? In Africa, they don't visit the sick people when they're sick. They come to the tent around. It's something that every human being understands without the Torah. So it's common sense. Then we don't make Asher Kideshanu b'mitzvotav etzivanu. Why? Because we would have done it even without his order. So to say that we are doing it only because he ordered us, we have to be careful. It may be a lie. You got the point? We would have done it anyway. And what's the proof? That the Goyim also do it. That's the proof. Now, when we go to comfort the people that sits in mourning, in Shiva, we go to do it. We would have done it logically without the Torah, or we only doing it because the Torah said? Huh? It's logical, right? Someone just lost his father. He's my friend. I wouldn't pay him a visit. I know he's crying, he's upset. I come, I bring some food, I speak to him to an hour or two. I want to cheer him up. With or without the Torah, the Goyim also do it. All over the world. That's why we don't make bracha on it. But to take lulav without the Torah, we wouldn't do. To put a box here, made out of all kinds of ingredients from the cow, yes, this, you heard about the new rumor now? That somebody wrote a letter, one sofer wrote a letter. Before I tell you the story, in my opinion, it's a fake letter. I don't believe in it, because there are a few things in the letter that does not make any sense, but I assume that the letter is valid. Let's assume for a second. So one sofer, he wrote a letter that all his life he was buying the cards, the klaf, the scroll, to write the tefillin and the mezuzot in a black market without certificate of kashrut. There's a black market. The Arabs, they sell it to Reuven, and Reuven to Shimon, and Shimon to Yitzchak, and in the end it gets to kosher hands. And now they write on it. He say, I always trusted my teacher that taught me how to be a sofer, that when he buys from that place, he knows what he's doing. I never thought I have to check if the scroll is not kosher, it's from a camel or from a donkey skin or anything. It has to be from the cow. So the point was that he now realized that maybe he wrote tefillin and mezuzot on scrolls that were made from impure animals. Behemot me'od. Because of that, he got very nervous, because he has Yirat Shamayim. He went to his Rav, and he told the Rav, look, I sold perhaps hundreds or thousands of pairs of tefillin, and who knows how many thousands of mezuzot, and I have no idea. Maybe some of them are not, because according to the halacha, if you roll it on an impure leather, it's not kosher. So guess what his Rav told him? His Rav told him, you have to get all the people you sold them, the tefillin and the mezuzot, all of them, and give them back their money from A to Z. And he said, how can I give them the money? Where do I have all this money from? I live with this money. So he said, well, in that case, you want to be clean after 120 years old, you got to sell your house. He said, if I sell my house, it won't be enough to pay all these people. So he says, so you get money from everywhere you can to pay all these people back. So he wrote in the letter that he's going to sell his house. He has 7 children. He's going to sell each one of their houses. He helped them to buy those houses because these children knows that they don't want to live in a house that was received in an illegal way against the Torah by tricking people, even though he did not do it purposely, but by lying to a person not intentionally, and because of that he buys the merchandise, it's still a sin. So now he claims that he's going to sell 7 houses, and he published his telephone number for all the people who bought tefillin mezuzot to come back to him and he'll return their money. Even though, remember, in the tefillin he doesn't know. It's a doubt. Maybe some of them is on a kosher scroll, some of them in a non-kosher. There's no way to know. He doesn't remember all the history of all this scroll. In other words, his life in this world is finished already, this guy. Something here is not right in the story. There are a few problems in the letter that made us, we were trying to analyze it today. In my opinion, this letter is phony. It's not real, especially when I made phone calls to Yerushalayim, because I sold a lot of tefillin and mezuzot to many people, and we always make sure to get the best stuff on earth from the most righteous people according to all the laws, that not only that it's going to be beautiful. The beautiful part is the last thing on the list. It has to be according to all the laws. Never to erase in the wrong places. If you erase in the wrong place, nobody will ever know it's not kosher. So there's hundreds of laws applies to it. You need someone that is pure, that is a tzaddik, that is educated, he knows the laws, he has experience of many years, and when you have a doubt, he's not a stingy person that when there's a doubt, he says, I'll do it anyway. I'm not in a mood to lose $50 now. I already worked 3 hours. No, let's clean it and move on. You don't know. Nobody is there to watch him, everything he does. So if you don't know that this guy is for sure righteous, it's very big risk to buy from him. You have to be very careful, because money makes a lot of righteous people sometimes go off their ways. The Torah says, Shochad yaver ene chachamim. When it comes to money, sometimes the wrong things come out of their mouth. So the bottom line is a person has to pray to Hashem that he'll get him the kosher things. Kosher tefillin, kosher mezuzot. He needs chut for that. Apparently not all the people who buy really get kosher. I went to check where the source of the klafim and the mezuzot, and they all, Baruch Hashem, come from Mea Sha'arim, with the Ashgacha of the Badat, Tzaidah, Haredit. It's the most strict Ashgacha in Jerusalem, in Israel, in general. And then the Sofer told me, something in this story is not right. First of all, nobody speaks about it here. Something like this should have made a lot of noise. Second, never in my life, I'm a Sofer for so many years, never in my life somebody came and offered me for 80% off, like it says in a letter, that the price of the klafim, one piece from the Sefer Torah, the Sefer Torah, it's sewed, right? With the ligament of the cow. It's a clear string, and they sewed the pieces together. Each piece, without the handwriting, just the piece cost them more than $70. It's a whole process. It's not a paper. So if an Arab comes to you and offers you the same piece, if you're not righteous, he offers you a piece like this instead of $70 for $15. Multiply by hundreds of pieces that you need. Multiply by thousands of mezuzot and tefillin you're going to write. It's millions. It can be $1 million difference in a lifetime if the sofer is not Yirei Shamayim. But he said, something like this, you would hear that there are people who are selling it under the table for such price. Nobody ever heard of such a thing. So I know hundreds of sofrim here. They all buy from 4 places. This place, call here, I give you the telephone now. Everybody buys from them. And they're with the Ashgacha of the Haredit. So it doesn't make sense. I don't know, the story is fishy. Once in a while we hear these kinds of stories like we had with the chickens a year ago, 2 years ago. 10 years people ate non-kosher chicken, to wake us up. We wake up sometimes, but only for a minute or two, and then we go back to sleep. Now, we'll speak, so we spoke about mitzvat bikur cholim. Now I want to speak about another mitzvah. You know that there's a mitzvah that a Jew is not allowed to destroy valuable things. It's called bal tashchit. For instance, if you eat now, if your mother cooked for you a piece of meat, and you ate 3/4 of it, and you have 1/4 of it left, and it's for $2, $1, the leftover, if you really weigh it, it's worth something. I'm not talking the bones. Meat, I'm full. You're not allowed to throw it to the garbage. It's a sin. Mamash a sin. Also, not allowed to buy, to begin with, to take a lot, because knowing you're going to throw the rest. The appetites and the desires of a person, he eats by his stomach. He eats by his eye, not by his stomach. The eye convinces you to go to the restaurant, you order 10 salads, 10 pita, this, hummus, vegetable salad, Israeli salad, you drink 2 bottles, by the time they bring you the meat, you want to vomit already. What happened? Some people, at least they take it home, which is very good. Some people, they went on a date, on a shidduch, he's afraid that the girl is going to say, look at this stingy guy. So he said, I never take her, I never take home. She doesn't know that without her he goes and gets from other people's tables. But with her, come on, I'll take home. Come on, don't exaggerate. Yes, no, bottom line is not permitted to throw it. In weddings, restaurants, places like this, if you see the garbages, how much food they throw every day, big problem. So the point is, this is just about food. But not only about food, what about clothing? A person doesn't like so much his clothing, he throw it away. Well, Jews really usually don't do it. They always look for somebody to give it to. But some people, the jacket is not, new anymore. One day he decides, I'm not wearing it anyway. He takes it, he throw it in a bag, throw it in an incinerator, in a garbage, finished. He doesn't have time to look for a customer for it. Right? My father once told me, he used to be a singer, Frank Sinatra. So he said, you know what's special about this fool? I say, what? He say, he bragged that he never wore the same suit in his life twice. He only wore a suit once in his life, and he made a neder, mamash b'kedusha u'v'ta'ara, after mikveh and 5 times Tehillim. God forbid he'll never wear the suit for the second time. I said, so what does he do with all the suits? So he wear it once, and his assistant pass it away. Pass it away. So now,
he's a rail almost.
Whatever. Where is he today? In a green fire, in a yellow fire. Where is he today? Now, the question that I have when it comes to this mitzvah bal tashchit, also it applies also to a fruit, to a tree of fruits. If a person now bought 1 acre land in a very expensive place, and just when he's about to dig the place, there's many trees, in the middle he finds an apple tree. He has a big problem now. He paid over $1 million for this lot. And right in the middle there's 1 apple tree. 1 tree. According to the Torah, he cannot take the tree out. Cannot. Any tree of fruit, Jew is not allowed to take it with the roots out. You're allowed to cut it, to make it grow better, to take the apples, no problem. But to take the entire tree out, you're not allowed. It's called bal tashchit. But if it's trees with no fruit, then we're allowed to take them out. But once it has fruit that people eat, you're not allowed to take it out. By the way, in Borough Park, there's a very big shul of the Hasidim. And when you walk inside the shul, you find something very interesting. As we are in this beautiful shul, right? This shul is a peanut compared to the size of that shul. When they bought that land in Borough Park, it's very expensive. This place worth more than $20 million today, easy. So right in the middle of the shul, there's an apple tree. In the middle of the shul. Why? What could they do? When they remove all the trees, they found right in the middle a tree. They can't take it out. There's not going to be bracha in that place, ever. They left the tree in and they made something around it, and beautiful. You walk into the shul, instead of a bima in the middle, you see a tree. Beautiful tree. You know, when you go to California, in Los Angeles, almost every house has persimmon trees, lemon trees, orange trees, great weather. Fruit, you don't need to go to the store. I don't know why they buy. They have so many trees over there. I asked the neighbor, can I get an orange? Yeah, you can take the entire oranges from the tree. Plenty. They fall on the floor. Nobody eats them. Yeah, same thing. Over there it's different. Here you pay so much money for every piece, you know. But over there, nobody cares about it. Everybody from the street can come, take. They don't care about it. They have a lot of fruit over there. If a person one day wants to make an extension to his house and he has a tree, he cannot remove it. He cannot do it. What happens if a goy comes and he wants to do it on his own, the builder? Or he took it out and he didn't ask your permission. You bought the land, you see hundreds of trees, you bring the goyim with their tractors to remove all the trees. Just when you come the next day when they finish the job, you see apples on the floor. You understand, they just remove an apple tree. What do you do then? Did you make a sin or no?
You didn't know.
Is there a loophole where he has to sell it to a guy and then...
There's always, you know, there's always a way and there's a bridge. Right? You know, in the people of Sdom, they used to have bridges. So when you know what, they were so wicked, so on the bridge you pay tolls. Where do you think they learn about this whole toll? From Sodom and Gomorrah. In Torah, they used to charge tolls. So sometimes people used to come, they see the bridge, they say, you know what, why should I pay toll? I go with my camel into the water, I cross the river, I save myself the $8-9 on the Varazano. The water wasn't so deep, you know. So what happened? The people of Sodom knew there's going to be stingy people, so they waited for them in the other side of the river. Everybody who came after he got wet, oh, wow, I should have not done it. They said, now you pay 10 times more. Instead over there, yeah, that was the rule. So on that Varazano, you pay 8. If you try to go underneath, you pay 80. That's the people of Sodom. So now, the mitzvah of Bal Tashchit, it's also not to rip your clothes. If a person got angry at his wife because she put salt in a coffee instead of sugar, you know there was a Rav that his wife by mistake one time bought a pack of salt. She put it in a sugar cane. And every day, you know, she used to make him tea, and he drinks. One day he left a little bit and he went out of the house. She was thirsty a little bit. She said, let me finish the tea. She drank the tea, she almost vomit. Wow, it's salty. When he comes back, why are you not telling me every day I put salt in your tea? He didn't want to hurt his wife, to offend her in any way. So he said, I'm going to drink it until the salt will be over. He goes, Mishamayim, Hashem send me salt. Chazon Ish, you heard about the Chazon Ish? Chazon Ish sent someone to find him a wife. He said, I don't want to waste time on dating. So it's Bitul Torah. Find me a kosher woman, you know what I'm looking for, according to the Torah. Beauty is not so important. Find me a Eshet Chayil. So they found him a woman. Hashem Yerachem, you know, he saw her, he got to the wedding. A few minutes before the wedding, he saw his wife for the first time in his life. Because the Torah says a person cannot get married before he sees his wife at least once. Shema titganeh alav, maybe he doesn't like her. How is he going to get married to her, make her miserable? It's going to be a very bad life. This is 2,000 years ago. If 2,000 years ago it was important that a person will like the beauty of his wife, needless to say today, when the people are so down in their modesty, there's nothing even to even ask. But the Chazon Ish had to make the halakha, so he looked at her once, and he didn't like her. Perhaps he did not like her. And why did he get married? Not to offend her. If he would now cancel the wedding, she would have big embarrassments. The Chazon Ish was supposed to get married to this woman, and he canceled the shidur. Nobody will ever marry her. So he said, if I'm going to cancel this engagement now, this woman is a dead woman. even though she wasn't normal 100%, he married her and suffered with her all his life. When his student wanted to come to the house, she was sending them out. They had to come to the window to speak to him from the window. And he never had children with her. And he never divorced her. That's a tzaddik, you understand? I don't care. I suffer all my life. I'm not going to offend another Jew, not make him miserable. Psh, what a level of a person. Yesterday, after my lecture in Brooklyn, I stopped by my friend. Over there, there's an office. They're calling people. They bring them to Torah, to lectures. So the office there is active. 12 o'clock at night, I get there, I see, Baruch Hashem, the head of the yeshiva from Bnei Brak. There's a yeshiva for Baalei Tshuva. It's called Netivot Olam. It's in the center of Bnei Brak. Very important yeshiva for educated students, jet pilots, all the smart people goes to this yeshiva. A lot of smart people, movie stars, singers, very famous people in Israel that became religious, they all sit in this yeshiva. You want to see all the celebrities, you go to this yeshiva, every table you see somebody from television. They come there quietly because they're embarrassed that they'll find out that they became religious. They come to learn Gemara, they put a hat, they come, they learn. He gave me the names of the people I couldn't believe that comes to learn every day. So over there, there's a big Rav, his name is Rav Brook, he's the Rosh Yeshiva. Rav Shach nominated him many years ago to be the Rosh Yeshiva. So one of the students, I was sitting talking to the student on the couch while they had a meeting. They were speaking about the night they collected charity for the yeshiva. So he told me, you see this Rav? Yeah, you know him as a Talmid Chacham, as an educated Rav. Everything is fine. If he's going to send me now to sleep somewhere, let's say he found me a place to sleep, he's going to call me from now until I get there 10 times to make sure that I have a bed, that I like my room, that I have shampoo, that I have toothpaste over there, that there's even toilet paper. You have toilet paper over there? He's not going to go back on his business before he's going to find out that the other Jew that he sent somewhere has everything he needs. You like it, you don't like it. This is great people when they always think about the others. Usually most people are egoistic, you know. He's going to enjoy and I'm going to suffer. Same thing in a plane, right? You come with your friends, there's a seat that you like and he likes the same seat. Usually you're going to go first. You try to get the window, or if you don't like the window, whatever. The point here in life is to be the opposite. You want, choose, where do you want to sit? Like Abraham told Lot, you go right, I'll go left. You go left, everything is his. He owned the plane, Abraham Avinu. Where do you want to go? Wherever you go, I'll choose the other side. That's Abraham Avinu. That's why you hear his name after 4,000 years, you still know who he is. Right? Why nobody's going to write about us after we leave here? Because we didn't get to his level. No hocus pocus here. You reach Abraham level, believe me, everybody in the world would know you. Chazon Ish, only 30 years ago he passed away. In 1,000 years from now, Ezrat Hashem Mashiach comes sooner, but in 1,000 years from now, every Jew all over the world will know who's Chazon Ish. Even Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, still alive, Baruch Hashem, he should live long life. Everybody will know him forever. Same thing, they know the Rambam. In 50 or 100 years from now, they're going to learn Rambam and Rabbi Ovadia and Rav Moshe Feinstein and Chazon Ish together on one table. Together. People from our generation. Nobody will remember me and you. You know the joke. This joke is a real story. That one Jew, they blame him that he slaughtered a Christian boy and he took his blood to make the matzah, like they used to make all these terrible, horrible stories. So the lawyer came to the judge and said, Your Honor, how can it be that this rabbi slaughtered a kid and killed him? You know how careful is this rabbi in everything he does? For instance, if he wants to deliver a letter to his friend, and he's going to do it while he's walking, and he puts it in his mailbox, he's going to take a stamp and rip it, that the post office will not lose the price of the stamp. So the judge started to laugh. Everybody laughed. So the judge said, come on, cut the nonsense. You really believe this shtuyot? So the lawyer said, believe or don't believe, that's one thing. Nobody speaks like this about me and you. You understand? But about him, that's what the people say on the street. You understand? Yeah, whether it's true or not true, that's one issue. The fact that they speak all kinds of beautiful stories about the Baba Sali, he made a river, he read people's mind, he gave 300 people arak with one bottle. Maybe it happened, maybe not. Only Hashem knows. Nobody writes about us stories like this. You don't need to know if the stories are true or not. Once you hear that somebody made a story, hundreds of stories about this tzaddik, you know it was somebody special. You agree or not? Makes sense. The rest is irrelevant, because always people want to know, you really believe it happened? Then it's irrelevant. Happened, didn't happen. The fact that people write about him that he did this, that's already show who he was. And that's enough for me. One other thing, some Jews grow their hair in the front or in the back, what we call blorit, ponytail, or hair in the front. There's any specific name for hair in the front in English? Any expression for that or no? Bank? Bank? Citibank? They're on the way down today, the banks. Say? Bang.
Used to be a pompadour.
Bang, like bang, bang, like shooting?
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, bang.
Used to have a pompadour years ago, something that would go up in the
Yeah.
exactly in front.
So I tell you something. The Jew that grow the bang never dreamed in his life that he make a sin every second of his life. He never thought of it. Because the Torah says Jews are not allowed to have haircut like the Goyim. They are not allowed to dress like them. They're not allowed to talk like them. They're not allowed to behave like them. They're not allowed to imitate their customs. Even Thanksgiving, there's a big arguments between the rabbi if a Jew in America is allowed to eat the turkey. Not that there's a problem of getting the family and eating turkey in any day of the year. But tomorrow, it's a question. Today, it's no problem. Tomorrow, that's a question. Why? You imitate the Goyim. The rabbis that say that it's allowed, they say, listen, it's not a religious holiday of the Goyim. It's a holiday of gratitude to God that gave them America. I always laugh at this holiday. Why? Imagine, just I give you an idea. They came to America. They butchered the Indians. They stole all their lands. Yeah. They complain about the Israeli who took the Palestinian land, even though they admit that the Torah is the word of God and God gave the Jews the land. They admit. But when it comes to politics, they forget about the Torah. No, you took their land, give it back. Because of them, we have all these problems. Because of us, because of our sins. But they are the reason. They are the gun to our head, America. They stole the land from the innocent Indians that are really here, and that was their land. The Torah didn't say that the land belongs to the Yankees or to New Amsterdam or New York. You know what's New Amsterdam, New York? People that came from Holland, they called it New Amsterdam. People who came from York, which was in England over there, Scotland, Ireland, they made it New York. That's why you have New York.
And we used germ warfare on the Indians too.
Yeah, so yeah.
Smallpox. They gave them smallpox.
Yeah. So the point is, to make the Indians happy, they gave them few casinos. No tax. Beautiful. And now they make a holiday to thank God that helped them to rob the Indians. Isn't it beautiful? That's the truth. You have any other way to describe it? But it just show you how narrow the mind of a person can become when he doesn't know real history. Millions of Americans never even thought that way. You're going to tell it to an American on the street? What? And then when you show him proof, facts, he's going to be shocked. He never even thought about it. He's going to scream about us when his grandparents are much worse than us. But that's ignorance. So, Blorit, there's an argument between the rabbis if it's a sin from the Torah or from the Rabbanan. According to the Rambam, which is the most important posek in Jewish halacha, it's a sin from the Torah. It's like counting, like eating pork. When you grow a bang in the front, it's a sin from the Torah. I'm not talking about the problems that it creates when you put the tefillin. The tefillin doesn't really touch the scalp, which is another issue. You have to open the hair and make the tefillin really touch the scalp. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the beauty of it. When a person grow his hair, it's a problem. Also, the Zohar says that when a Jew grows his hair, judgment comes on him, and his luck in life get ruined. So that means if you see a person that have long hair and he has problems in his life, it could be very well that the problems that he have is because of his hair. And it's interesting, in Shulchan Aruch, usually nobody pay attention to the hair. When you come to make a Jew religious, you want him to be Shomer Shabbos, to eat kosher, to put tefillin, to pray once a day at least, to wake up. But in Shulchan Aruch, that's not the right order. Interesting. Shulchan Aruch say two things to do to a Jew that you want to make him religious. Two things. The rest will come anyway. One is to give them a haircut. And second, to dip them in a mikveh. You remove all the impurity from them in one shot. It's like reborn. Why the hair? Hair, it's dinim, judgment, dinim ala ben adam. The Zohar and the Gemara also says, Amitgae beblorito, someone who is proud on his bang, mevi asonot al Israel, bring tragedies to the Jewish nation. Tragedies come to the Jewish nation because Jews are proud of their hair. I want to ask you a question. Let's be a little realistic. If you saw a guy that has a beautiful blorit 5 feet up, but he builds shuls, he builds yeshivot, he keeps Shabbat, he's a great chazan, he reads in the Torah, he learns Torah most of the day. Very nice tzaddik. And then you see somebody that is datiloni, half and half, but he has very short hair. Who would you think needs right away help? The one who keeps half and half, or the one that has blorit 5 feet up? Who needs more help? Really, who's more righteous? The one with the blorit, no? The one with the bang. He's very strict, but he has this blorit. The other one that keeps half and half, he needs immediate help. He's not keeping 100% Shabbat, tefillin. He needs immediate help. So you may think that we have to approach this guy is more important. Comes the Zohar, the Gemara, and tell you that the hair is a big problem. Big problem for the person. I want to ask you a question. What's the logic behind it? Why the Torah is so strict about the hair? Who cares? As long as he's righteous, let him have hair all the way to the floor. What do you care? The answer is, the soul of a Jew is in the brain. The soul, the neshama, the part of God is inside the head, inside the brain. And the hair, it's the garbage that comes out of the hair. When a person is proud of the outside, that's what he has to show. Almost like the tavas, how do you say tavas? That opens his feathers in a safari. Peacock. That's what I have to present, my hair. That means I'm empty from inside. The outside is important, it's a big problem. If a person cares about the inside, he doesn't care about the hair, the outside, or the clothing. If the inside is full and healthy, forget religion. Look at the professors in colleges. Those who all their life read books, learn, read, they scientists. Their hair, one is long here, it's short here. Big glasses from the 15th century. He got it from his grandfather in inheritance already. An old car. A watch from the 12th century. He's such sloppy guy. His tie is the opposite. Tie from his grandmother. She gave him a tie. If you look at the guy, he's not from this generation. Why is it? Because he's full of knowledge from inside. He doesn't care about the outside. The more he's empty from the inside, he is trying to highlight the outside. Look at the Puerto Rican people. Even on the nails, they are trying to put all kinds of stars and things to attract attention to all things over there. Why? A lot of them did not go, they did not learn a lot, so they highlight a lot the outside and the flag all over. The same thing in Israel. In Israel, by meeting Jews, you don't need to talk to them. You bring me two kinds of Jews, an intelligent one and a non-intelligent one, and you don't tell me which one is one. I am willing to swear that I'm not going to make a mistake in one of them. I will tell you right away who is intelligent, who is not. Why? By the clothing. The more flashy is their clothing, pink, yellow, colors, red, shiny, tons of gold, rings, this, it shows this person is empty from inside. The less he has, classy, t-shirt, nothing, very simple, clean look, or less makeup on a woman, clean look, it shows more intelligence. It's interesting. It's the nature of it's the psychology of the person. When you empty from inside, your weapon is the outside. When you're full of the inside, you don't care what they think about my outside. Why do I care what they think about my shoe or my suit? Obviously, when I open up my mouth for 5 minutes, all these fancy people will hide. Why? What do they have to say? Understand the point? But when I have nothing to say, I might as well present myself nice. You understand? This is the concept between the inside and the outside. Yes?
Really want to hear the Nazir issue.
Oh, the Nazir. I was afraid that somebody asked me this question. But Nazir, it's an exception to the rule. When a person, by the way, which people made themselves Nazir? Nazir, it's a monk. He dedicates his life to Hashem. He lives different lifestyle than an average Jew. The Gemara says that one beautiful person, very handsome man, had nice hair. He came to the river and he saw his face that he's such a pretty person, and he saw that his Yetzer Hara begins to work on him, that he's about to go to ladies and do averot, make sins. So he made a neder, he made a vow that he's going to be a Nazir. You understand? So he never drinks wine, he never touches hair, he dedicates his life to Hashem. A Nazir like Shimshon, Samson, that's an exception to the rule. That's a different story. But there was one other exception to the rule. He used to be a Rav 400 years ago, approximately, the Maharsha. You heard about him? It's in the end of the Gemara. It's genius, like you take 1,000 rabbis, 1,000 Rashi Yeshivot together, they're not going to be 1% from his brain. Maharsha. Sometimes you need a day to understand 5 words what he wrote. 5 words. 5 words, you can write 10 pages what he meant. 5 words. Such a, you feel like smoke comes out of your ear. Maharsha, it's so hard to understand his words. It's all small letters, 5, 6 words. He explained you the entire concept in a Gemara in 5, 6 words. Their language is so short, only genius people are able to understand what they meant. It's very difficult to understand. It's very old anyway. Their brain was so sharp. They have everything clear in front of their eyes. If you're smart like me, you understand me. If not, you have a problem. And this is the kind of writing that they have. You see today in Yeshivot. You read Rashi, you understand. You read Tosfot, it's already much harder to understand. You read Maharsha, it's even harder. Rabbi Akiva Iger, it's so hard. There are a few words only. That's it. Go and understand what he meant. So Maharsha, he never cut his hair. He had very long hair. Why? Everybody was wondering, why this rabbi has hair like a hippie? Look at him. When he opens up his mouth, he knows the entire Torah by heart. Look at him. You see him. He has long hair. Until they found out that because he doesn't want to ever go to sleep, he doesn't want to sleep ever. Bed? He doesn't even have a bed. He never wants to go to sleep. He wants to learn every second of his life. If he falls asleep, he falls asleep. He's not a robot. I will never initiate preparation for bed. I will never go to bed. I sleep. While I'm learning, I fall on a table, fine. I never go to sleep. If I fell asleep, it's an accident. I don't go to sleep. In order for him not to fall asleep, he used to take his hair, tie it to the chandelier before he sat, tie it, and every time he falls asleep, what happened? It's like somebody pulled your hair. That's the reason he had long hair. Yeah, Eliyahu Hanavi was visiting him. Eliyahu Hanavi. That's why he didn't want to cut hair. If you're going to raise your hair, grow your hair like this because you want to be the Maharsha, believe me, I'll be the first one to give you askama. When we get to his level, we worry about it.
And the little boys then for the same.
Little boy up to 3 years, the reason, the source of this custom, it's not an obligation. It's a custom. You don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Jews doing it for one reason. Because the Torah said that once you plant a new tree, for the first 3 years you don't enjoy from his fruit, from what comes first 3 years. And the Torah also says, Ki ha'adam etz hasadeh. The person in a way, in many things, has a lot of mutual things between him and the tree. And Ki Adam Etz Hasadeh means that we are equal in many ways to the way the tree is. Therefore, since we don't enjoy from the tree from 3 years, we don't touch their hair for 3 years. In the 3rd year, we cut it. What other mutual things we have between us and the trees? We perform much better when we listen to music. The trees, they grow much better when they listen to nice music. Also, we have feelings. The trees suffer when you cut them. Every time you cut a tree, it screams from one side to the wall to the other side of the wall. The Gemara says every time a person chop a tree, his voice travels from one side of earth to the other side of the world. Or the Gemara says that King Solomon, he used to know the language of all the animals, the language of the angels, the language of the rivers, and the language of the trees. Which means the trees communicate between them, they have a language. Also, you don't need to go that far, 3,000 years to King Solomon. You can go 2,000 years in history to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. He is a student of Hillel HaZaken. From 80 students, he was the last one. From 80. Yonatan ben Uziel was the number one, the greatest. And he was the last one in the list, and the Gemara brings his talent. He knew almost everything that I just told you about King Solomon. One of the things he knew is the language of the trees. How can you prove today that the trees speaks? Very simple. I once had a scientist in my lecture. I'm trying to remember where was it. I don't remember exactly where, but in the end of the lecture, he came to me and said, I want to back up what you just said. He says, if you ever go to a forest or to an orchard, pay attention, there's many, many trees, one next to the other. And after a while, the branches expand to the sides and they go one into the territory of the other, but they'll never hit one another. They're always going to find a way. If this tree will go right, he will go left. You want to go up, I'll go down. They'll never make an accident. It's interesting. Why? They're alive and they communicate. But if you take a tree, he told me, that scientist, if you take a tree and plant it right next to your siding of the house, which is made from wood siding, it will go right into it and make a damage even after a while, and make a hole and problems and leaks. Why? Because it's dead, that tree. It cannot answer back. So move, I want to go. He's sleeping. Siding of the house is a dead tree, you understand? So now, Russian scientists, those news that I'm giving you, it's at least 10 years old, because I read it 10 years ago. The Russian scientists made an experiment when they cut vegetables. What's happened? They connected 2 wires with electric to a little flashlight, and every time they chopped with a knife the carrot or the celery, the light went on for a second, and they saw a dot of light on the other side of the wall. They put it across the other wall, and they saw that something is happening. It creates an energy. So they came out with a conclusion that the vegetables have feelings. They feel. It's not raw material. When you cut them, they have feelings. It's interesting. That's why maybe it explains why they tell you when you cut a branch, cut it with a sword, don't break it. For whatever reason. I always thought, who cares? Why you break it, you cut it. Maybe that's explain why. But the Gemara already said what the Russian scientists just found out a few years ago. The Gemara already told you, you cut the tree is screaming from one side of the wall to the other. So why you don't hear it? Because God programmed your ear that you're not going to hear it. You know why? Because if you would hear it, you would be dead after 20 years. You wouldn't have a house, you wouldn't have fire, you would freeze, you wouldn't have anything. You wouldn't have a carriage for the horse, you wouldn't have anything you need, a bed, nothing. You wouldn't be able to eat. You wouldn't be able to cut trees. Why? Who has the heart to take a person and chop his hand off? Can you do it? Can you take a sword, a person is standing like this, you come, you cut his hand. After you see the way he behaves, believe me, you never cut any other parts, unless if you mengele.
Chickens, cows, or shepherd.
Huh?
Chickens, cows, or shepherd.
Right.
I'm not afraid to do that.
We are afraid. Believe me, we are afraid. If you see it once in your life, you may never want to eat steak ever again.
I used to see it all the time.
Yeah, but there are only special people that can be butchers, shochet. Those who were born in Mazal Ma'adim, potentially they're supposed to be murderers. Yes, and because yes, they have desire to kill, and if they're righteous, they become shochtim. If not, they become murderers. You understand? Mazal Ma'adim. Ma'adim is Adom, blood. Mazal Ma'adim. Yeah.
Why do you create the sheep to suffer like
Again, the question that you ask him is like, why the animals suffer when you slaughter them? Why Hashem didn't make them like a robot? You break him, they suffer. They are suffering. Not a lot, because the Jewish chita is very important. To do the Jewish chita, the animals suffer less. You know, many years ago, I told you they were trying to forbid Jewish chita in some countries, Mexico, Switzerland. Recently, they're always doing it. There's court cases about that. In Switzerland, it's illegal to have shchita. There are some countries that forbid. So over there, a piece of steak costs $5,000. To get kosher steak in Switzerland, it's very difficult. Yeah, it's against the law. What do they eat? Rubashkin chicken.
Chicken and
I don't know what they eat. Chicken from 2 years ago in cans, when it used to be legal. There's always a way around the law, you know. One Hasidic guy was very clever. He knew that when human beings like me and you writing the laws, for sure they make mistakes here and there. So he wanted to smuggle bottles of whiskey, expensive one, to Israel. When he found out the tax he has to pay, he said to himself, it doesn't pay. The government wants to eat all the profit. This is the way it's in Israel. The government is your partner from the day you're born until the day you died. But when you die, you have to pay 100% for your grave. Here, they're not partners. But everything else, they take 60% from you. So what happened is, he started to check the law, and he found out a way to do it. So he filled up containers full of whiskey, and he got everything on a cargo plane, and he brought it to Israel. It's a true story. And he got caught in Ben Gurion airport in a cargo. They opened up the containers, thousands of bottles of whiskey. When they found out that he's a Hasid, their celebration was triple. Oh, they made a party, drank l'chaim. Oh, everybody will see this Jew with his beard on the what a clip we have here. Oh, it's such a great news today. So they took him to court. He's sitting there smiling. Look, he's not afraid, this guy. So the judge say, you know, if you be found guilty, you're subject to many years in prison and a huge penalty. So he said, Your Honor, I don't know what all the excitement is. I never violated the rules of the state of Israel even once in my life. Everybody laughed. The judge is happy. Oh, this guy is crazy. So he tells the judge, and I'm serious about what I say. So the judge says, so what exactly you did here? We just caught you red-handed. So he said, no, check the laws. Did you ever check the laws? Here I have it. He pulled out a copy of the laws. No citizen is allowed to bring any merchandise without paying duty through the land and through the ocean. That's the law. I brought it through the air. I did not bring it through the land or through the ocean. Here you go. That's the laws of the state of Israel from the Turkish days. From 100 years ago, they did not have planes. But they are fools. People wrote it. They needed an upgrade. So did I do anything against the law? I checked the law before, and I saw that it's perfectly kosher to bring it from planes, with planes. And guess what? In less than a minute, the judge said the case is dismissed, not guilty, finished. Cannot do anything to him. Got lucky. That day, they changed the law. You understand? The Torah doesn't need to be modified. That's the beauty of it. Even though it was created in an old time, in ancient rules and everything, it still applies to every scenario that you have today. Where do you think all the rabbis answer their answers from? You ask anything you want about modern technology, I show you all the answers. The Gemara speaks about this and that and that. They take it and they build the case with such solid proof, one by one. Why? Because the Torah taught about all the scenarios. But the Torah gave it like a raw material, and we are like the diamond dealer, the diamond cutters. We have to, how do you say the word, to make it shiny and make it beautiful? Not polish, it's a raw diamond, and we have to make it into a shiny diamond. What's the process called? Not cutting. Cutting is just cutting it to pieces. To actually make it into a beautiful diamond. It's called in Hebrew lelatesh. Litush yalomim. To make it... Whatever, you got the point. It's not English lecture here today. I mean, lesson. So the point was that the laws of the Torah answer every scenario. You just have to know how to get it out of there. To get it out of there, it's a special art. One other thing I want to speak about Eliyahu Hanavi. We don't have that much time left, 15 minutes. So I would like to speak about Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi, what is he? Is he a regular Jew, regular human being, or is he actually an angel? What was Eliyahu Hanavi? No, so what is he? Reincarnation of Pinchas? So he's a regular person. Huh? That's why I'm asking. Who knows how Eliyahu Hanavi finished his job here in this world? How he died, Eliyahu Hanavi? He was buried?
No, he didn't.
Did he ever die?
She was taken away by fire.
What happened to him? Huh? Let's hear about Eliyahu Hanavi.
The angel of death.
The Eliyahu Hanavi is one of the first angels of the creation. When you read in Bereshit, comes HaKadosh Baruch Hu and say, Naaseh Adam betzalmenu bedmutenu. Hashem spoke in a plural language, which created a lot of problems in history to a lot of Jews. Why? Because when all the anti-Judaism people read this, they say, hey, you see there's more than one God? What does it mean, Naaseh Adam betzalmenu? Let's make a person like our image. Does it leave any doubts that we are talking about more than one creator here? When someone who reads the text, he has no doubt. It's more than one God. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was writing it, he stopped right there and started to argue with God. He wanted to change it. He said, God, what are you doing? It's going to create me a lot of problems, this sentence. He says, I know and you know that you're only one. Why you speak in a plural language? And God told him, "Arotze lit'ot yavo ve'it'eh." Don't worry. If a person wants to be mistaken, he will find a way to be mistaken. If he wants to be right, he'll find a way to be right. That's his answer. Who was these angels that God told them, let's make a person like our image? So one of them was Eliyahu Hanavi. Then he went down to earth as Pinchas. Pinchas, secrets, it's all Kabbalah here. As we said, as Chazal say, Pinchas ze Eliyahu. But they should have said, why Chazal say Pinchas it's Eliyahu? It should have been the other way around. Eliyahu it's Pinchas. Is it coincidence? There's any word by Chazal that it's by they felt writing it from right to left. Tomorrow they're in a different mood. They write it from left to right. Is it possible to say about Chazal like this? His wife didn't make him coffee, so he decided to change the chronological order. He was angry today. He should have said Eliyahu is Pinchas, but Chazal always say that Pinchas is Eliyahu, because the right order was the opposite. Who came first, Pinchas or Eliyahu? The truth is, Eliyahu was created before. Then he went down as Pinchas, and then he returned to what he was all the time, Eliyahu. So he was an angel to begin with, as an angel that never died. That's why we have that chair. You saw those chairs over there? You pay $5,000 on each one of them to prepare Eliyahu Hanavi a chair. Eliyahu Hanavi visits in every Brit Milah because he say one sentence of Lashon Hara about the Jewish nation. And Hashem say, yeah, I want you to come and see how they are devoted to the mitzvot, how they circumcise every baby. Your punishment, you participate in every Brit Milah. You may ask, what happened if we made 500 Brit Milah in one day, all over the world? An angel has no problem. In less than a second, he can be in each place of the 500 people. What, he needs El Al? $1,500, 10 hours of suffering together? No, don't worry. He can be anywhere he wants. Before time is running out, questions about adopted children. Are they considered children, or they are considered, I raised him, no problem, but he's not a son. Why we need to know? Question number 1, can they say Kaddish on their father? Question number 2, are they entitled to inherit their parents? For instance, if a person has a daughter, according to the halakha, the daughter does not inherit her father if there are boys. If there's one boy and 15 girls, the boy take $100 million, the 15 girls gave the lice from his father's hair as a gift. He takes everything. Of course, if the father is clever and he loves their daughters, in his life he writes a clear sharing of the estate, and he wants to give his daughter as a gift whatever he wants to give them. It's legal, no problem. But assume he died in an accident and he did not leave a will, the Beis Din has to give everything to the son. That's what the Torah says, Banim Yoshim. But if there's no boys, the girls inherit that. How many girls they inherit? Where do we learn it in the Torah from? From Tzlofchad. Yeah, 5 daughters. 5 daughters. 5 daughters come to attack Moshe Rabbeinu. Imagine Moshe stands, 5 girls come like this from all sides. Hey, what's going on here? We want real estate here. Who are you? We are the daughters of Tzlofchad. Our father died not in the argument with Korach and his group. What's the connection? So we learn from that one important rule, that a Jew that was arguing or fighting against the messenger of God automatically lose his piece of land. He's not entitled to get a piece of land. In other words, his children will not inherit him. It's like a penalty. So that's why they come and highlight that point. Our father died, natural death. What was he doing, this Tzlofchad? Mechalel Shabbat. Mechalel Shabbat has no part of the world to come. His soul gets cut out of the Jewish nation permanently, unless if he made repentance before he died. As long as he lives, God is looking at him as 100% like a goy. And that's the halakha in Shulchan Aruch in 7 different places. Mechalel Shabbos is equal to a goy 100%. However, if he make repentance in a second, before he even kept Shabbat. Now, if there are people here in the crowd that still violate the rules of Shabbat, chas v'chalila, it's the worst thing that you can think of. They are not educated, that's why they're doing it. Everybody which I taught him how serious is that sin, almost all of them right away started to keep Shabbat. Why? They were ignorant before. Ignorance is a crime. And ignorant is painful. Oh, what a price you pay if you're ignorant. That's why it's a crime in Judaism to be Am Haaretz. You must learn the laws of the Torah, because if you're not educated, it's not like somebody doesn't know medicine. You don't know medicine, no, you die. Instead of 70, you die 50. You lost 20 years of your life. It's terrible. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Life flying by night anyway. But to be ignorant will cause you to lose billions of years of pleasure. That's a different story. If you are dying, Mechalel Shabbat, you have no part to the world to come. Hashem, God is not entering you in His place. Where does it say it? Every book you bring from the last 2,000 years, it's in it. Any Shulchan Aruch, Ashkenazi tradition, Sephardic, Yemenite, Rambam, everything you bring, I'll show it to you. No arguments about this issue. Why? Because this is the covenant that God made with the Jewish nation. So that's the foundation. Shabbat. Shabbat, Rashi Tevot, Shin Bet-Tav, Shabbat, Brit Filin. The 3 covenants we made with God is Shin Bet-Tav. Shabbat, Shin, Brit Milah, circumcision, Bet. Taf, tefillin. What's special? Ot I beni uvenechem. 3 times it says in the Torah the word ot. Ot is, it's a sign. It's a sign that you are, it's a sign that you are my son. You are not keeping, you're not fulfilling that sign, you cut from me. You have no connection to me. The difference between a Mechalel Shabbos to a Goy, there's only one difference. Right now, they are 100% equal in the eyes of God, with one exception. That if a Goy, like the one I spoke to on Friday, Armando, he said, okay, I'm becoming Shomer Shabbat tomorrow. It was Friday, 2 o'clock. When we done there, it was 3 hours before Shabbat. He tell me, you know what? I want to become Shomer Shabbat. He can say until tomorrow, I won't help him. If a Jew say it, and even he didn't get to Shabbat, Wednesday, today, now he thought, you know what? I'm accepting Bezrat Hashem in 2 days from now, Friday now, I become Shomer Shabbat. I want to come to the rabbi after the lecture to give me some hints how to start. How a Baal Tshuva starts. Hundreds of thousands did it in the last 20 years. I'll be another one. Very good. It's not the end of the world. After 3 months, you're waiting all week when Shabbat is going to come. Everybody's saying it. There's no argument about this. So what happened? He died Thursday. Did not make it to Shabbat. He already has a part of the world to come. What a merciful God. He did not correct a bit. Just you accept it in your heart to remove yourself from the sin, it counted like you are Baal Tshuva. But if you did not accept and you die Chas v'Shalom, that's it. End of story. As long as you're alive, you can correct. Once you're not here, that's it. There's no way to correct. And that's why a lot of people don't understand. So the point here, how did we get to Shabbat? We were somewhere else. What a trip I took you to. Armando, LA, Shabbat, Eliyahu Hanavi, Brit Milah. No, who remembers how we got to Shabbat? What's the connection? Nah. You modified the lecture, huh? No problem. Huh? No, what? No?
Motzei Shabbat, we say his name, we have to have Havdalah.
Before we got to it, you guys, Baruch Hashem, have your own lectures here with you. No? Nobody knows? מה אתה אומר, יהודה? Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to the wall. Everybody is sleeping and being polite. No, who remembers? The first Rav that used to teach me Torah, Gemara I should say, we used to call him the king of the reverse. What's the... He used to give us, we speak in the Gemara, he explained us the Gemara, and right after that, after 2 hours, he went to tell us stories about the prophets, about the king. After 2 hours, he stopped. How did we get here? So it goes like this. A second. You ask this, and he answered this, and this, and that's how we got here. You can go back reverse to all the steps. So Baruch Hashem, I inherited from him. We spoke about Tzlofchad. Tzlofchad, how did Tzlofchad die? He was the first Mechalel Shabbos in history. The first one. And you know what? The poor guy. Really, when people read the story in the Torah, they think, what a wicked person. God only spoke a few days ago not to be Mechalel Shabbat. He goes and he's doing Chilul Shabbat. Moshe kills him. What's going on here? The truth is that he was a tzaddik.
To show how it is important.
He sacrificed his life because he wanted the Jews right away, in the beginning, to see what's the punishment of Mechalel Shabbat, that they'll never dare to do it. He said, it's worth for me to be killed in a cruel death and sacrifice my life, and that no Jew will ever dare to do it. And it worked. After that, they already knew with Shabbat you don't play games. If a person sacrifices his life to die, to sanctify his neshama al kiddush Hashem, this is a very, very high level. Some of the poskim, some of the mefarshim, Amaram Mirotenburg was one of the Rishonim hundreds of years ago. He writes in his book that a Jew that sanctify his body and soul for the goyim to slaughter him because he did not want to bow down to an idol or to do something against the Torah in front of 10 Jews or 10 in front of a crowd, his wife can never get remarried. Like a king. The wife of a king, once the king dies, she's not permitted to any other regular Jew. I was the wife of the king. It's disrespectful for the king that his wife gonna marry the carpenter or the shoemaker or the barber. It's no respect for the king of Israel. That's why the Torah says if you are the wife of a king, it's a one-time marriage. Whether you like it or not, that's your husband and finished. Same thing, a Jew that sanctifies soul al Kiddush Hashem, it's equal like the king of Israel. That's what he writes. His wife, and what happened if she went and married anyway? She knows that there's a decree in a Gemara, in a Halacha, in a Mishnah, she is not allowed to get married. But she found a rabbi from Tiberia, from the market, and she said, Rabbi, quick, come. She brought two farmers from the field to be witnesses. Right away, Rabbi, look. She brought, Moshe, put the ring on. הרי את מקודשת לי, finish, he made her kiddushin. Comes the Chachamim, say to the rabbi from Tiberia, are you fool? What are you doing? You don't know that her husband was sanctified on the cross. They crucify him because he did not want to bow down to their idols. She's not allowed to remarry. But she did already. What's the halacha now? Huh? She doesn't have to get divorced. Once she did, that's it. The sin was done already. It's like a person who made a tattoo. The tattoo, it's a sin to make. A second after you made it, it's not a sin anymore. The actual tattoo, it's a one-time sin that you made it. You have no obligation to pay $10,000 for the laser to clean it from your body. If you're normal, you want to do it, because if you go to the mikveh in Muncie, the Hasidim will throw eggs on your head.
You get buried in a Jewish cemetery?
What do you care? When a person dies, they burn it. They take metal and they burn it. You don't see it. They burn him without it, or they cut the skin, depend. I had one guy in yeshiva. I used to give lectures by the house of Dina Moshe. It's a few blocks away in Hebrew, until the morning, for years, for maybe 3 years. All the Israelis used to come and sit there from 8:39 until early in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning. She used to serve food, everybody's happy, divrei Torah, arguments, smoke all over, Baruch Hashem. One guy came from Japan. Hair, one side orange, one side yellow, not blonde, yellow, a little black, a little brown, earrings, all kinds of necklaces. I saw him, I almost died. He came there, he just landed in New York. When people didn't have where to sleep, they heard the Israeli house, Dina Moshe, 65 and Queens Boulevard. Until today it's the case, for maybe 20-something years. So, I speak over there, he comes with his bags. Accidentally, he found himself in a shiur Torah, and I just said about Mechalel Shabbat what I just said. So the guy, Baruch Hashem, wasn't a chutzpan, he had a nice personality. He got curious. He wanted to check. So she gave him, he watched my video, Informatia Elokit, Divine Information. 3 days later, Baruch Hashem, we gave him a haircut, we took him to the yeshiva. Today is one of the tzaddikim, he lives in Bet Shemesh. 20 hours a day he learns. What a tzaddik. So why I remembered him now? Because he had a tattoo, but you see, the good souls, even when they make a mistake, Hashem has mercy on them. Like this guy, Tyson, the idiot, made a tattoo in his eye. Yeah. If he wants to cut the tattoo, they cut his eye. Yeah. Better off for him. He may have one eye, it's better. But this guy, he made a tattoo right when the shoulder connects, right here. There's a skin that you don't really need. So when he went to remove it by laser, the doctor said, hey, wait a minute, why should you spend so much money? We numb the place. You don't even need to go to the hospital. We cut the skin, we saw it, and tattoo. There's no more tattoo. $400 or $500. He got rid of the tattoo. Did he have to do it? It's not an obligation. Once he has it, it's done already. Time is up. Any questions before we finish? Any questions?
What about the people that are going to the war, they had that during the war?
That's not a sin, of course not. That's not a sin. That's a mitzvah. That's already the preparation for them to die on Kiddush Hashem. I tell you, I'll finish with the story. On Shabbat, I was in LA. Baruch Hashem, in 5 days net, 1 day it's only the flights back and forth, but in 5 days net, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lectures in 5 days. And tens of people, Israelis, Persian, Americans, all kinds of people. I spoke in English, in Hebrew. Baruch Hashem started to wake up to Torah, to Shabbat, to come to the shul, accepted to screen the Torah anytime, every Motzei Shabbos in Arizona. You know what improvement is this? That they're willing to they bring all the young people, all the Bukharians of Arizona, and like they do here in Bet Gavriel, and now it's going to be a little Bet Gavriel in Arizona. There's one Bukharian guy, I cannot pronounce his name, a barber. No, you're not going to say he's a billionaire or a millionaire. He had a little money. He told me the story, and then other people confirm it. And with the little money that he had, he saw that the community needs a place. He went and bought a building, and he made about 60% of the building into a Bukharian shul. And that's where they have the lecture and all these things. Shurik, how do you know him? Very nice person. He didn't leave me alone until I visit in his house. What I love about the Bukharian people, that, you know, the Machnise Orchim like Avraham Avinu. I was supposed to go sleep somewhere. He begged me to change my mind to come to his house to sleep. I said, no, but I have a plan. No, you come to my house. Okay, in the end he agreed that we come to make lechaim in his house. And of course they brought 20 different plates, grapes, almonds, cranberries, strawberry, a million things they bring. For 20 minutes they only serve, like we were a group of people. Why am I telling you this story? The last day of this trip was on Shabbat, next to the shul. I didn't want to stay in a faraway place, because it's very hot over there. And you know, I wanted a place, I don't care where, as long as it's close to the shul. So they put me by a house of an old Ashkenazi man, 90 years old. He lives in 2 bedrooms right next door to the shul. You come out of his house, you make 5 steps, you're in the door of the shul. That's how close he was. And he is a survivor. He was in Monktash, in Czechoslovakia. Next to Prague, there was a Jewish community, a lot of Talmidei Chachamim, rabbis. So he was there. And when I look at the wall, I saw maybe 30 or 40 of his grandchildren, all with their wives. Some of them have children already, so he has grandchildren already. All of them religious in the pictures. All of them yarmulke, covering the hair. You see? So I asked him, any one of your grandkids left religion? Because it's common in America. He said, Baruch Hashem, none of them. They're all religious. So then, that's before I knew he's a survivor. Then he started to tell me, you know, I was in Holocaust. So I told him, you have a number? He said, no, in Czechoslovakia they didn't have numbers where I was. So he started to tell me how he got saved. So he said that there were 240 Jews in a long line waiting to get food. That was everyday routine. They have a big wall and they give 1 spoon of food and they go and they take it and they go. So one Nazi came, him and his friend was standing in the middle of the line. He said, out of nowhere, you come with me. Why? He said, they took me to fix a ladder in a bridge. There was a bridge. So my friend was supposed to hold my legs like this, pick me up, and I have to bang few nails because the ladder is about to fall. So they want to make the ladder stronger. So just as we went in, my friend is standing in the freezing water and he's holding my legs, and I'm trying to fix the nails over there. We look up, we hear planes coming. 3 American bombers, planes coming, and they made a mistake. Instead of going to the Nazi side of the bridge, they came to the Jewish side of the bridge and bombed all the 238 Jews that were standing there on line for the food, one after one. Pieces of body were flying all over, and he saw his entire camp is dying, and he said, this is how me and my friend got saved. He says, do you think Hashem would save me for nothing? Hashem saved me. I came to America. And Hashem blessed him. He has, Baruch Hashem, a large family, all of them religious. And you know what? What a tzaddik. Shabbat he learns. Motzei Shabbat he reads the whole Sidur, all the brachot. He say, come read with me. V'yiten lecha Elokim mital hashamayim. He read Hebrew faster than me. 90 years old. Faster than me. He gave me a room. Every 5 seconds he comes, make sure that I have everything I need. He apologized 10 times that he didn't have enough towels. He did not bring the towels from the laundromat. You know, I'm sorry. So after all this, he has one granddaughter, 28 years old, looking for shidduch. He shows me on the wall who she is. Be'ezrat Hashem, if you're interested, but she's Baruch Hashem from a very respectable family. She's looking for shidduch. If anybody is interested, let me know. But interesting part is that Bli Ayin Hara, he asked me, how old do you think I am? And I didn't lie to him. I thought he's 75. I told him 75. He said, no, I'm 90. 90 years old. He's a Kohen also. 90 years old. So you know, you never know where you're going to end. You come, you go, once you already, Hashem puts you with this guy, you hear his story, how he got saved. 2 minutes before they got killed, they got him and his friend out. You see that Hitler and this was all puppets. It was decree from Hashem, and Hashem moved them around the way He wanted. You need to leave. Come out. All the rest died. That's it. The rest, of course, they chose to do it, but it's all from Shamayim. Nothing happened. Nobody dies if Hashem did not sign okay on it. If Hashem did not approve the final approval, nobody can kill you. Be'ezrat Hashem, next week, please check with Shimon, because I may not be here. I may have to go to Israel. I'm not sure yet. Before you come, I don't want anybody to travel for nothing. Check with them or through the email list. I believe that a lot of people didn't know if I'm going to be here because I wasn't here last week. I'm not sure. It's a 90% chance that I won't be here, but please double check, okay? Because I may have to leave on Tuesday, I may have to leave Wednesday night. If I leave Wednesday night, I'll still be able to do the lecture and leave from here to the airport. Thank you very much. Good night.